Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
And I'm cpredmor on Ravelry and occasionally posting as Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram. I don't know that I've been posting lately, but some this week. Last week, maybe.
Sunday.
Yes. It's been a busy week.
Yeah.
Yes. We had a bad case of fish at our house, so Richard and I were under the weather for 2 days, so I wasn't doing much of anything besides moaning. And then I went and had my second COVID shot, and I was one of those people that had a reaction, and not 24 hours later, it was within hours, but it's over with, so everything's good. And as they said, that's one way you know that the first vaccine shot was actually effective. Mm-hmm. And that it is then reacting with the second one. So that's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like that sweater.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's my Shifty.
I know. I just, it was colors you didn't think you were going to like, and yet.
It was colors that a lot of people didn't think we were going to like together.
And it
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, shall I start with what I finished?
Why don't you start with what you finished, since what I finished is in the wash.
Yeah, we made a miscalculation.
Yeah.
So these are my vanilla is the new black reversed.
So vanilla reversed.
Yes. And yes, I have two of them. They're both here. And I'm very pleased. They fit quite well. Yeah, I had Elizabeth's help in figuring out the heel increase because I'd been knitting in the round, and all of a sudden, it doesn't say stop knitting in the round, now you're going to knit back and forth. That would have been, I think, the one command or note.
It says knit, wrap and turn,
No, but it's not. You've been knitting circularly.
Right, but the next in direction is knit this many stitches and then wrap and turn. There
should be something that says, okay, now we're going. Other patterns I've had have said, now you're going to stop knitting in the round and you're going to knit back and forth. Now, it's a matter of resetting the headspace.
I think seeing the term WNT, wrap and turn, indicates it.
Especially when you're knitting two at a time socks.
I'm just saying that I can understand why it's not there, because I've seen it a lot of times not there.
I have also seen a lot of times where they've
depends.
Had the little star. All right, we're going to knit back and forth at this point. Anyway,
you're sounding very much like people you complain about right now.
Very possibly. So anyway, I had to take one sock off the needles and put it on other needles so that I could do the wrap and turns for the increase for the heel. So you're knitting and increasing with short rows to make the heel, and then you're using a rib decrease. And they fit quite nicely. Would I do them again? Probably, although I would say that my
you prefer your afterthought heels still?
I do prefer my afterthought heels. They fit my feet. I'm happy with them. But it's always good to know an alternative. So there's this. There's also the Judy's heel, gusset heel for toe-up socks that we have done. And that it's free and you can find it on the internet. But all in all, I find that the afterthought heel works well for me. It really depends on the shape of your foot as to which heel you use in any of these socks. I have not tried a square heel. In cuff down, I have not tried a square heel, or I think what they call a Dutch heel. I have not tried that. But so far, I have been pretty happy with all of them. So I must have an easy foot to fit. So that is fantastic. So these are done. Mark them done. This is how much I have left over.
Nice.
I didn't weigh them, but I assume they're the size of 2 minis. So whenever I get around to my minis project, I can certainly insert these. And in fact, I'm going to put them in the minis bin over there. So I'm really happy. That was one thing finished.
Yes, well, I finished the edging on that blanket.
Oh, you finished it?
Yeah, last night.
I didn't realize that.
Yes. That's why it's in the wash.
I got that, yes. Yes, you said it was finished. I didn't realize you meant the edging.
So the edging is done.
And you didn't pick up one for me. Okay. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Never mind.
We're having a day, can you tell?
Yes.
So I ended up getting another ball of yarn from the yarn store yesterday, and I picked up that and finished that, bind off that edging.
Yes.
So now that looks all good. I will try and post some photos of all of the baby knits that I'm finishing currently soon. But I have also been working on my Bernie socks.
That's so pretty.
I'm so proud of it. So these are, you know, inspired by Bernie Sanders' mittens from the inauguration. Obviously not the same colors, but colors from my stash.
I love them.
And this isn't the full like this is the patterning or the charts from the pattern that I bought. That will be linked below. But I'm using them in the vanilla reverse sock
Pattern?
yeah, for the heel, essentially, and it's toe up, and the pattern that it is.
Is it 2 colors in any one row?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I really enjoyed, what I did was I made a 64 stitch sock, and for the color work, so this is, the toe is on 1s, and from here through the heel is on 1s, but the color work is on 2.5s.
Yeah.
And it seems to fit really well.
It essentially is double yarn, and it becomes inelastic, which is the difference between doing double knitting and stranded color work. Now, if you had double knitted that, you would have had twice the stitches, and we would have had to figure it out. But it would have been stretchy like crazy. Yes. And it would have been a reverse pattern on the other side, which I find fascinating. I really do like double knitting. Yeah. And I think almost any pattern can be converted, but you really have to think about it. Yes.
So I did the sock portion of it. For the cuff portion, or for the leg portion, I'm going to finish the heel decreases, and once I hit that point, then I'll do the color work at the top of the sock, and then I'll do the cuff.
Very nice.
Is my plan, and depending on how I feel at that time, I will either do that leg color work on 2.5s or 3s. Just to give myself a little bit more room, because my calf is large, and also getting that color work over my instep and heel is what I'm thinking about. So, yeah, I've been working on that. What else have you been working on, Mom?
Well, I have been working on my counted cross stitch.
No, my word.
It really has caught my attention. So
I can see.
I did a lot of the sky, and I would have finished. The sky really only goes to about here. And said, well, why didn't you finish the rest of it? But then I said, you know, I really have been working on moving this picture across this way. So behave yourself and work on filling in some of these squares. And I'm doing better at making sure I'm in the right square at the right time.
Apparently you are, but apparently she figures this out on Saturdays, it feels like, because I come over on Saturdays. And she's gone, and she goes, what was I doing? What was I thinking? I've lost my mind. I decided to go over here. And I'm like,
I can tell you that this square, this little square right there is, I don't even know where in the pattern it is. But it is not where it's supposed to be. But, you know, it's in a massive green, so unless you all have the same chart, you're never going to know that that's, like, lost its mind. I have ordered fabric pens. They're heat disappearing fabric pens. So my idea is to use first the column number and then the row number. So it would be like, let's see, this is 12.
Why don't you go, I was going to say letters and numbers.
Oh, I could do that. That's
so
really
it would
good.
be A12, B12, C12.
So that in each little cell, I intend to number and letter to identify which one it is.
And then she will also transfer this to her actual pattern so that she can identify it.
My pattern is marked along the top and down the side, so I can go and try to find it. But I think that'll help, because what happens part of what happens is that I do this as I'm watching television.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend, well, the problem happens is exactly this. I park the needle here. So I have finished, well, I haven't finished this stitch. That's good, because at least then I know where I was coming in and out of. If I draw this down to the back and I finished the full cross stitch, then I start up again, having put this down just to watch a little bit of television. I have no idea where I'm supposed to be. So what I have taken to doing is, all right, I could do this. Stick this in where it's going to finish the stitch, and then put it down that way. But then there's a needle out the back. So if I hold it at the half cross point, I've got a better shot of actually being in the same square and trying to finish that particular pattern. So it's a matter of adapting. Could I do this without watching television? Probably could, but then I'd be bored.
I was going to say, why would you?
Yes, I'd be bored because I really can't read and do this. That's too difficult. Since I can knit, because I can knit without looking. So like the socks and things like that, things without patterns, or even things without changes in color work. Patterns, I can knit without looking and read, and but I have to look at this as well as look to read, so that doesn't work. Anyway, you can see that I've gotten to this point and totally filling in the pattern.
It looks really good, Mom.
And then I've got 5 stitches.
And
I've
you
got this.
picked this? Did you pick this up last March? When did you pick this up?
Yes, March through May is when they arrived.
So you started this in May or so?
Something like
so you've
that.
got about 10 months on it.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. Well, I didn't focus on it right away.
True.
So I've done this much here to here, solid, and then I'll continue working. So I'll be working on these 2 columns this week, and what I do is I fill in the stitch color that's supposed to be there, and then I find where else it's supposed to be, and finish off that thread, rather than having it hanging someplace, because things are getting tangled otherwise.
Yep.
But yeah, I am very pleased, and I like the way it's looking. I think it's recognizable as a nice Italian lake. Yeah, I'm very, very, very pleased with it. And it's what I want to be doing at this moment.
Good.
Weight loss continues. Lost another quarter pound this week.
Good.
Yes, so that's really good.
I didn't fall over half as many times during my bar exercises this week.
That's excellent. What bar are we talking about?
Bar. B-A-R-R-E.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing ballet exercises.
I am trying to.
Okay.
I figured, let's at least try to work on balance. Maybe.
Effort.
Maybe. For all who know me in real life, you know I am a clumsy AF person. So, any help I can get with balance is great. But I also have been working on my Pengweeno for my freshman year roommates. Oh goodness, he's now 1.5 almost. So this is in the 2-year-old size. I think it's quite dapper.
I think so too.
It's looking quite dapper now that it's got its fronts on it. With the back. So I have one sleeve picked up that I'll work on, and I'm hoping to have it done by next week so I can get it off in the mail soon. So that maybe he can wear it this season. And if not, he'll wear it next season, hopefully. He's a big kid, so he might have outgrown it.
Oh dear.
It happens. Not a huge
sweaters
deal.
can be worn at different times of the year.
Yep.
There's always some time in the spring that's chilly.
Yep. So, what are you working on in your lap right now?
What I've got in my lap right now is my skirt to my dress or tunic. So you all have seen these paisley patterns, and I had a swift talk with myself and say, you really have to get moving on more of that. So I have done the crocheted paisley base, and now I'm putting the little hairy eyelashes on that you can see there. This one I did, the beginning one I did them both sides. This one I only did them on the outside. I think I'm going to try to do them on the inside and outside of this one. However,
so it's like every other one?
Something like that, because as you say, it's a look, and it's not a look that you think it's overblown.
It's a bit much.
I do like, however, if your eye is so taken with this, I don't think you're going to be looking at that different dye lot as I'm wearing it. I think you'll be looking at all the multiple colors. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with my maple leaf.
That is very cute. That one's the cutest,
like
I think. I think your leaf is the cutest part of it.
So I will be putting more leaves in. Hopefully rotating these paisleys more. So I've got another paisley drawn out on here, over here. I've got 2 more paisleys drawn out over here. So I think I will try to get more paisleys done today and get those done. So then I'll be left with a third, I think. Yes, it's going in thirds.
All right.
So we'll continue on. So between now and next week, I hope to finish this panel. And, yeah, see what other eye-distracting things I can do to this. And then we'll have a discussion on what I'm going to do to connect them. So I do have that.
Yeah, the Molly girl.
The Molly girl in.
Unapologetic?
No. If I wanted exposure, I get this out. I get my fits out, which we all know is referring back to
a collaboration or a initiative that Countess Ablaze did a few years ago.
Because she was mad. Someone had said, well, you really should do my event. And because, and do it at a price or at a cost that was going to be almost ruinous for her. She goes, he says, because it'll get you exposure. And she says, if I want exposure, I'd get my tits out. So she had done a color work.
They had done a colorway, yeah.
Yeah. I think tits out.
Yeah.
And then another dyer figured it out or appropriated it, something like that. It was somewhere where the way she was dyeing the yarn for that particular colorway, someone else took on. And so then the next year she actually said, take it and use it as long as you give 5% of what you sell to charity. And so this was Molly Girl's version of that. I've got a couple others.
I think you've got Asylum and Yarning.
Yes,
because I definitely have Asylum and Yarning.
I'm looking at them right up there. Yeah. But this is a lovely color, and I think I'm not going to be using much of it for the waistband. So this will be nice. So that's over here. So yes, this is what I'm working on in my lap.
So
what are you?
I picked up a new hobby this week.
What did you do?
So there's this company that's called Hello Bargello. And they have these really cute earrings.
Needlepoint.
Yes, it's a needle. It's a needle. These really cute earrings. So I bought a kit for the earrings. And I bought a kit for a cute little Whoosy What's It tray. And I've already made one of them. It's already on my nightstand. I made the blue one. I don't have it because I left it on my nightstand because it's holding things on my nightstand. So I will probably make the pink one as well. But I have also, so I showed you the earrings that I made that I ended up wearing on Friday. But I also have made 3 other sets of earrings already. Because I can do this on conference calls. Because it's geometric and it's repetitive. It's not like a cross stitch where I have to look at the pattern every time. It's not like the black work where I definitely have to look at the pattern every time. And
it's just a little bit different than knitting.
It's a little bit different. Yeah. So I will be putting on the whip stitch edging. Have to figure out. They're plastic canvas, yeah.
Yeah. So this is all part of the kit you bought?
Yeah. So the earrings came in a little bag like this, and the bigger kit is the basket, the little who's it, what's it holder. So, yeah. I might or might not have also bought the supplies, not from the company because they didn't have a kit, to make a little, like, wall piece, because why not?
Bargello was very big in the 70s with flame stitch.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And you're making fun of me and my paisleys. So
I'm just saying that it's a different thing that I can do during, conference calls.
I think.
Especially because my hands were hurting from using the size 1s for the socks.
And my hands right now are hurting from the cross stitch. Apparently I gripped my needle. Oh, well. But that's not going to have me stop. So I really am enjoying the cross stitch. So I may be on a cross stitch adventure for a while.
Yeah. I think you will.
I've got a lot of cross stitch, and I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
So very excited by it. Although I do want to get started on more knitting, and my problem is I'm not sure I want to go back to ones, which are what the gloves are on, or the Norse mittens.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to think about whether I want to work on that Pennsylvania Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
I have the pattern I started, 3 rows.
Yeah.
Or I could take that and, because I have another pattern that I sent away for, which is, hold on folks, here, this. So I have this, which also comes in a long sleeve version. And I think this is actually written or done in cotton. But, we could think about this. Certainly the wool would hold its shapes. I don't think that a sweater that's written for cotton would be terrible.
No.
In wool.
No.
So, what does it call for? It's an Argyle pattern. They're calling the cables Argyles. All right, so I'll look. I'm not going to take time right now to see what size yarn it calls for. Patents Katrina. So I'm going to have to look and see what Katrina is. Anyway, this is another thing I was thinking about, but honestly, I'd like to get started back on a sweater for me. And whether I finish this now or what, and I really should. I'd like to get Pennsylvania worked up because it's really going to be time to start working on the cottons and the wool cottons that I have, which is what I bought a lot of last Long Island yarn. Yes.
Which was about a year ago now.
Yes, it was the last thing we did before we locked down. In fact, it was the week before we went into lockdown. They called me and said I'd won the grand prize, and your father was telling me, don't go out there. Maybe next week. I said, I'm going now. I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did, because at that point, it was only really known that it was in New Rochelle. And they called me on Monday. I'd just been out there on Sunday. So I figured, I'll run out on Tuesday. How bad can it be? There won't be that many people there. There was one other person in the store who then left as I came in because she was done with her business. Got this stuff, brought it home, and then that's been it. Absolutely it. However, now that I've had my vaccine and Richard's getting his on Tuesday, we figure that we should be able, and according to the CDC guidelines, we should be able to run down and see my mom come Mother's Day.
Because she's also had her second vaccine.
Yes, she's had the second vaccine. She did very well. She said she didn't have any reactions.
Well, that's good.
It's very good. I, of course, will have all kinds of reactions.
Oh, yeah.
But, that's great. So
I'd love to see Nan if I have the vaccine by that point.
So I'm going to give her a call, I think, tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to wait till Richard gets through this.
I was going to say, wait till Daddy gets through.
And actually, I'm glad we didn't have the shots on the same day, because if he does have a reaction, it would be dreadful for both of us to be down at the same time.
I would not have come home. You don't. When people talk about people being man sick, my father takes like gold trophies home, gold medals home for it. Yeah. So yeah.
So anyway, but luckily the physical therapist had warned me.
Mm-hmm.
She said of the people at the physical therapy, only 2 of them had had any kind of reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said hers lasted for 48 hours, so that also helped her. And she said she's 30 years younger than I am, and in relatively good health, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she started off with the day after, she'd had a headache, and then the second day, she had a fever. So I said, okay. And I had my shot by 10:15 in the morning, and by 3 o'clock, I had a headache.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a terrible headache. It was nothing like my migraines. It was just a constant cloud, kind of right here. And I took Tylenol, and it kept it in abeyance. So that wasn't terrible. And by 7 o'clock, I started getting shivers. I thought it was getting colder over by the window. So I was crouching slower and lower in the blankets. Well, because we've had problems over the winter.
We have.
With cold air coming in through the window by the sofa. So I thought, it must have gotten colder outside because I'm starting to shiver over here. Like light dawning on marble head. No, I was getting the fever.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't tell you how high it went because the batteries in the thermometer were shot. And Richard's reorganizing the basement. So, well, first of all, at that moment, I didn't feel like I had the energy to go downstairs and look for the batteries. But the next day, when I started looking for the battery, I couldn't find them because he'd been relocating things. So by the time I checked, the highest I saw was 100. And it's gone down from there.
Good.
And I'm fine today. So I do think it's great if you can have the shot on a Friday when you don't have anything that you have to do for the weekend, because then you can just sit through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've started making our reservations for the summer. What are you shaking your head? If we're sailing, it's not like...
I'm just amused.
Why?
I'm allowed to be amused by you guys.
But why? I don't understand what's amusing.
The joke is that, like, all of the young people are gonna, like, get the vaccine and go wild. All the people I've heard who are super excited about getting the vaccine to go traveling places are old people. Or people who are, 65 and older.
It's hit the news.
So
we're getting
I'm just, the reason I'm laughing and I'm giggling is because, it's a whole thing. It was always like, oh, it's the young people. It's the, the 30 and 20, the 20 and 30 year olds who we're gonna, have to worry about. No. It's the freaking 65 and over crowd who's had their vaccine. Who are having their vaccines, but now they're like, party!
Yes.
So that's why I'm laughing.
You're talking about baby boomers. Party has always been in our system. Always. Anybody who thinks that we don't have party written on our spines, think again. So, I have not convinced Richard that we should take a flight anywhere. But I don't have a reason to take a flight anywhere at the moment. Should I find a sailboat that I want? That may change. We're not up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, if I could find the right catamaran, I'm getting on a plane.
I know you are. I know.
And I now have evidence that the first shot was effective.
Yes.
So, have masks will travel.
Yes.
And the worst it will be is like a flu for me.
Which you've had multiple times.
So, that really doesn't frighten me. And, I've had the flu usually from various members of athletic teams.
Due to being a college professor.
Yes. And who their coach apparently wants them to sit in the front row, which I applaud. But since they're on teams, they also get sick at the same time. And
they spread their germs at the same time.
And so being in the front row, they're right up there. So anyway, yes, we've made some reservations so that we will be going up to Stonington, Connecticut. We will be around the 4th of July. We've made reservations for the 4th of July in Nantucket. So the 1st, the 30th, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So we're planning to be in Dodson's on the 5th. And then we don't have to make reservations at Cuddy Hunk. We do have reservations at Martha's Vineyard. I don't remember exactly. I think that's earlier in I'm not exactly sure what the time frame is about that, but we have those. Nantucket comes up on the 15th of March, so we will make those. And the joke around here is that the last time we made it to Nantucket, Richard said he had to take us out of the harbor in Martha's Vineyard in Edgartown. I can get out of the harbor. That's fine. So then he goes down below. He gives me the helm, goes down below and starts to eat breakfast. Fine. But all of a sudden the fog comes in, and I'm looking at the lighthouse over on the neck at Edgartown, and it disappears. Totally disappears. And I am not happy with this.
Mother does not abide by fog.
I do not. We don't have radar. We have
AIS.
AIS. Well, that's good, but not every boat has AIS. These little motorboats, you should see them bombing out of Nantucket.
I know.
Bombing out of Nantucket. And so I would feel much better if we had radar in the fog. So anyway, he's down below, and I'm looking at this, and the fog's rolling in, and so I turn the boat around. I make a big U-turn. He goes, "What's happening?" I said, "We're making a circle." He goes, "Why?" I said, "The lighthouse is gone." And I am not driving up here by myself in the fog. You don't have to do that. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Because normally in the fog, he's on one side of the boat. I'm on the other side of the boat, which is 12 feet apart, maybe. And we're looking ahead, and you're actively looking for what's ahead of you. Now, we have had fog so deep, so thick, that we couldn't see the big fishing dredges. I mean, and of course, that time, Richard had the radio stuck on channel 13, not 16, so we didn't hear them hailing us. We were almost T-boned by a fishing trawler. So having had these experiences, not that I'm getting hysterical, but
no, not at all.
Having had these experiences, I really want to be able to see. And if I can't see, then you get your butt upstairs and help me look. So,
or else we're getting turned around in a circle.
That's right. And I said, I'll circle out until you finish your cereal. It's not my fault you got up late so you couldn't have cereal before we headed out. Anyway, you get over to Nantucket, you cross by the breakwater, all of a sudden the sun breaks out. It's a whole different day. My niece, her cousin, was doing a summer internship over there, and she said Nantucket has its very own weather. It's the strangest thing, but it has its very own weather. And you can't tell from what's happening at Martha's Vineyard what the weather's going to be like on Nantucket. Absolutely true. Anyway, we have been in Nantucket. I don't know whether the restaurants have survived. But I can't. So we could anchor at Nantucket. There's an area of the harbor that has a sandy bottom and does not already have mooring buoys in it. So we may not make reservations and just go and anchor, or intend to anchor, or have that as in our back pocket. And then if we get there and the moorings aren't full, we could always ask for a mooring. Then we'll come back and we will go back out again and go up to Provincetown. Those reservations open later since they're farther north. Your father wanted to know if I wanted to go any further north than that. And I said, well, yeah, a little. I could see going further up Massachusetts. I don't think I want to go to Maine this summer. Not in this boat. I think in our next boat that would be fine. Yeah. With this boat, it's cramped. And enough is enough. So we'll see. But yes, we started making our reservations because, last summer when my knee was dodgy and you couldn't get off the boat. You couldn't really go eat out. And you want to get off the boat. You want to exercise your legs. You may use a lot of your arm muscles, but you don't use a lot of your leg muscles. And it is nice to get off the boat and just, get a little different scenery, see the town. I love Provincetown. I like the restaurants. I like the ambiance. It's just a great place. So I'm sure we'll get there. So how much further we'll get, I don't know. We always stop in New Bedford. And there's a family-run restaurant there that also has a fishing boat, so I imagine they'll still be in operation. I hope.
don't know.
And so the deal is we usually eat breakfast and lunch from our own store, and then we'll have dinner off the boat if we're not underway at that time. So, yeah, that's the plan. And we'll see. We thought we had someone who was interested in buying the boat. He even looked at the boat, but since we had dirty sails.
Oh, that's what he
said the sails were not in good condition. Well, no, the sails are in, they're old. They've got bellies in them. And so, no, they're not really racing sails. He'd have to get new sails. So I think your father said he was going to call and order new sails for us.
Nice.
So that'll be nice.
That'll be nice to have new sails.
It will be.
Don't have to scrub the sails again then. That'd be nice.
It'd
be really nice to finally have a season where we're not trying to scrub sails to the point where Dad goes then, oh, I guess that's not coming out.
No, it's not coming out. The sails are laminated, so you can get bacteria, I guess. Mold in between the two layers, and it can't get out. You can't breathe. You can't kill them with Clorox.
Yeah.
Kind of like COVID. And they just look stupid. Ugly. They do. So, anyway.
Yeah. So, enough boat talk. Back to yarn. I went to the yarn store, as you heard earlier, and I picked up a bunch of yarn for baby gifts.
Oh, I love that.
I know. So, I have a coworker's little girl is due in June. So, I picked up some of this lolly.
I love that.
And it's got this
what
little
is it?
Speckles. It's cotton and polyester.
Nice.
And it's like a DK worsted weight. And so I'm thinking I'm going to do a tin can knits pattern.
I love that.
There's one that's got like a mesh panel in the front, so it could be used as like an over sweater.
Nice.
And I think it'd be really cute in this. And so if I need
adorable.
an extra, it'll be there. Yeah, so I thought they were cute and good for a summer nugget. And then I picked up this Sublime, well, I've got Sublime, DK, and Erin in the Cashmere Merino Silk, which is actually, it is superwash, I believe. I'll have to test it again, but I think I've made it and washed it before. But it's great for nuggets, because it's super squishy and, and springy and soft, which, you know, is super helpful. It's Sublime.
By?
Just called Sublime.
Okay.
It's the Cashmere Merino Silk, either Erin or DK.
Okay.
I thought they were all one of them. Apparently not. So these are the colors I got.
The same.
They look really good together. And it's probably going to become another Pengweeno, because I realized that there is a coworker whose wife is expecting, and I don't know what they are expecting, whether or not they prefer, you know, gender neutral, if they have color preferences. So I will probably make that for them. And then for one of my college friends, I finally picked up yarn for a blanket for her. So this is vintage chunky, and it's going to be in these colors, which I confirmed with her go with her decor. She sent me photos of her decor, so it does go. I'm really excited about that.
That's
and
gorgeous.
Then, because she is going to be a little rainbow baby, I got her this rainbow and a, you know, lavender gray to make a sweater.
Very pretty.
For the little nugget. So I've got at least 3. So this will go with the entrelac blanket, and the other 2, and the blanket and the sweater for one of them, and then another sweater for a third baby. So I'm
full of baby mode.
Well, because a lot of people are having babies.
It happens.
It happens. But I gotta make sure that they're properly outfitted with hand knit goods.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you're taking that on.
I am.
excellent.
I am.
Excellent.
I'm trying.
I'm trying to talk myself into making another toy for someone.
For Niesling?
No. For someone who's down in New Jersey.
Oh, for the same one who's going to get that blanket that I just described?
I guess.
I'm trying to figure it out. Is it a college friend of mine?
Yes.
Then yes.
Okay.
I do know who this is for.
So,
I think you should. They'd really like it.
I know. It's just my hands hurt.
I know.
So if I get started now, then I can get it done in time because I can do a little, just like
Olivia.
Olivia, I can do a little bit at a time.
Mm-hmm.
My hands really haven't recovered from Olivia.
Yeah.
And not doing the cross stitch and everything else haven't helped. I think I would have to give my hands, I don't know, a month break, and I just can't stand to do that. So, oh well.
But yeah, that they're not due until June or July.
I got an email that they got smaller rabbit kits.
Aww. I think they'd really appreciate it.
I think she would too. So I've been thinking about that.
Oh.
So yeah, I may do that.
But yeah, so
I sent my email yesterday.
so I have picked up a new hobby. Been working quite doggedly on baby knits to try and get, or little person knits to try and get some of those out. Because I'd like to get the ones that I have to mail done. So I'd like to get this, the Pengweeno done. I'd like to get, well, I don't have to mail the little dude, but I'd like to get the little dude done because he just turned 1 in January.
Yes, it would be nice.
And I can drop that off.
Less pressure.
I would. And then I can focus on the many, many knits for Little Miss.
So, yes, this is how the eyelashes go. You can see what I'm doing. I like it. As I said, it's because there's a different dye lot. And honestly, there's a line right across the skirt. And this way, you're going to be so laughing at the...
that you won't see the dye lot.
You don't see the dye lots, and that's okay with me, you know?
Yeah.
It's just fine. As you say, it's my style.
Which is well, it's also your thing, so...
It is. So that works just fine.
Yeah.
So we have this.
Oh, yes. And so what also came in the mail, well, in sort of acquisitions, is the new PomPom, which is called Block Party, and it's the quilt-inspired issue. And there's some really... PomPom is always really great, let's be honest. Also, point of order, PomPom is producing a book with Jacqueline Cieslak called Embody. It looks amazing.
This is that capsule wardrobe?
Yes. It's a sweater. It's a knit sweater that can be a cardigan, a pullover, a crop, a tunic, and with multiple different sleeve types. And also a sewn garment that can be a crop, a tunic, a dress. It's
Which
lovely.
I've always thought about a capsule wardrobe for sailing.
I think this would be a good...
However, in the summertime, I sweat so much that there's no way that I'm reusing these tops. So I end up with, well, first there's underwear that is brand new every day, and we have a small boat. We're not doing that much laundry on the boat. In fact, when we go see our friends in Nantucket, she has asked us to bring our laundry. Newport, yes, sorry. Yes, Newport. It's another N. To bring our laundry, so we have clean laundry. So we bring everything. We bring sheets and pillowcases and really get it all clean because on the boat things get musty. But you're sweating on the boat. I mean, you go from chilly in the morning to hot at noon and then chilly again at night. So you're happy to get these clammy things off. So there's no way that I want to be washing these things.
Right, no, but I was saying, I think the tunic would be a good thing. You could make a few of them out of, some,
But I've also bought a lot of things, like from Gap, that are just perfect for sailing. So I have to see. Not that I have a problem with acquiring more clothes, but that's really the antithesis of a capsule wardrobe. But I do think capsule wardrobes are great for when you're traveling, not necessarily on a boat. And I have no problem washing things in hotel rooms. especially when you're going to be there 2 nights, because that way you can wash the first night and have them drying, so that by the time you're packing again for the after the second night, everything's drying. You can put it back in your suitcase. And drying things on the boat works really well if you get things out during the day, starting in the morning. It doesn't work quite so well at night, because as the sun goes down, the dew sets and everything gets damp again, and then you also have to worry about things blowing away.
Yes.
Anyway.
So, PomPom is producing that book with Jacqueline Cieslak.
It does look great.
It's great. I need to pre-order it. But the first pattern in here is this. This is the, I just lost it, what is it called? The Lizz, which is a knit jacket with, I believe, a sewn lining. I think, maybe not.
I mean, I like it. I'm just not up for hoodies. That's just not my style. But I love the color combinations. And I think it's very liberating in terms of maybe using
double
those
knit
blocks.
It's double knit.
It's double knit,
is what
so
it's
reversible.
Saying. Well, no, so it uses a different yarn on the interior to make that the fuzzy on the inside.
Ooh, how cool. So, but I'm just not a hoodie person.
No, but I think it'd be cute.
I think it's very cute.
Have a younger person in your life. I love myself a hoodie, but I don't know. Maybe I could make one if I made it in like grays, knowing me. Or
use some of your minis, so have a solid.
This entire issue is great for minis.
Yes.
So this is the Lizz. It looks amazing. I would happily knit one for knee slang. So this is called Lucky Pieces.
Oh, I love
It's a
this.
cardigan. I adore it. It's entrelock with some like stripe colorwork situation. It's really, really amazingly
it's very
ingenious. Yeah.
Very pretty.
So you could use your minis for the colors. I'm definitely thinking about it. And then we have Day Spring, which is knit side to side. And I like it. I like it both in the multiple colors and the one color.
I do.
Like, I think it's a really beautiful shape. I think it's a really great, throw it on. Everyone will be like, oh, you look so nice. And you'll be like, I just threw on something that was comfy. But because of these beautiful garter ridge details, I think it could really elevate your look.
Yes.
I don't know. I find sometimes when I'm not feeling super great, and I used to in college have this one dress that I would throw on and throw a big belt on, and everyone would be like, "You look so cute," and I'd be like, "Great." I felt like shit. Like I wanted as minimal clothing touching my body as possible.
Was that my dress?
No.
No.
It was a different dress. And then like I've found that if you really, really don't feel well, like I just throw on a sweater I love, it
helps elevate your mood.
It does, but it also just helps because I feel like people are. Oh, and that one's called Lucky Pieces, by the way. And so it's just I think other people also see how good you feel in that.
Yes.
So this is called Battenberg. It is a crocheted cardigan of granny squares.
And for those of you who don't understand the Battenberg title or name, it's because Battenberg cakes are 2-color cakes, but they have 4.
There's a recipe for Battenberg cakes.
That's right. So you can see that the colors, are, first of all, the one color here, A and B are here, and then they're switched for the second. Mm-hmm. And so that's why it's called Battenberg.
So that one's really nice. I'm not a crocheter, but I think if you are and you're looking to move into garments, it's got a good shape for a granny square cardigan.
It does. I cannot wear a granny square.
No, but I think for a granny square cardigan, it has a good shape to it.
It does.
And I think it's that.
And honestly, I think if it was made in just 2 colors, I might be more. You have to understand, my grandmother made these things. You talk about granny squares. My grandmother did make these things, and just like I'm getting my hair cut so I don't look like my grandmother with my hair pulled back, I don't want to be wearing my grandmother's Afghan on my body.
Mm-hmm.
But that's me. You know, we all have memories that affect what we think is
Mm-hmm.
fashionable. And for me, it's just not granny squares. If granny squares are new to you and you love the way the colors look and the texture, fantastic. You know, we have different styles.
Yep. So this is called whole cloth. It's a beautiful shawl.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
And that's in DK. And then this is a cardigan called Crux, which
looks
has
like yours.
These, yeah, it's a little bit. But these are more of the crosses are made with yarn that is woven through. It looks like from what I read in the pattern, rather than a slip stitch mosaic pattern. It's really lovely. And then there's this cardigan schlanket duster cape thing called what is it called again?
I couldn't figure out what it was.
Paper Houses, and it looks amazing.
It really looks like something you crawl into when you get home.
It looks amazing. It looks like what everyone wants out of their like office blanket. Yeah. Because I feel like everyone will understand that statement, because I think everyone who works in an office where they do not get to control the temperature understands the need for an office, blanket. And I think this is a very fashionable, very beautiful, office blanket. But also, I think in, maybe not these colors for myself at least, I think you could elevate this very easily just by picking different colors. At least for me.
I think it's gorgeous.
I really love the construction of it. And I love it. I don't know why I love it so much, but I love it.
Would be just a grand piece to have. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. So it's interesting.
Yeah, so it's like that.
And that's open. So
those two spots are open, yeah.
All right, so you stick your arms through there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's the diagram. And this is another photo of it, which is just beautiful.
It better. Yeah.
It's just beautiful, and I think I just love it. I just love it.
Yeah.
So then there's a sweater that was knit in a linen called, I just had it a second ago, 4 quarters. And it's really a lovely, like, faux wrap sweater. It has, let's see if I can get back to there's the diagram. So it has, 3 colors, I think. So those 2 are the same color, I think. And then those 2 are different. And it has this tie at the waist, and it's a lovely pattern.
It really is.
And it's made for linen, so it'll be, light, and it'll breathe. It'll also insulate, so it'll keep you warm and also cool.
Yes, that's what I found with my linen sweater.
So this is a cardigan called trapunto, which is a type of needlepoint, right?
Yes, it's padded needlework.
Yeah. So that, you can understand why they would call it that, due to the texture pattern. And again, I really like it. PomPom usually hits it out of the park. This one really hit it out of the park.
I like this.
And then it's an ad for Stephen West of Stephen and Penelope. And then there's a bunch of articles on quilting and quilting. Specifically, there's one on Quilting for Justice, which is an interview with Social Justice Sewing Academy. It's really good. The articles are really great. There's another one on just quilts, and it touches on Bisa Butler, who does the portrait quilts. If you've seen them on Instagram, she's fucking amazing. Like, cool. And then you have the patterns. Which, as always, are laid out beautifully. And then at the back, like I showed you earlier, they do have a recipe for a Battenberg cake. So, all in all, I think if you were debating whether or not to get this pom-pom, I say do it.
I would.
It's really lovely. And I think it's got some really great stuff in it this month, or this quarter.
Yes.
I know Mom has plans for things already, and I'm definitely thinking about that.
We just have to plow through what we already have planned.
Yeah, I know, but I've got enough planned for like the next 3 years, so sometimes things are going to have to jump the queue.
They are.
But yeah.
Yes.
So, I think it's time to weave in our ends.
It's time to weave in our ends. Go back to, I ran out of the yarn that I was doing my needlework with to make my furry eyebrows. So.
Your eyelashes?
Yes. Whatever. So I have to go back downstairs to get something to rethread my needle with.
So we will talk to you all next week.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.